Hi everybody, Russ from My Hammers 11. I hope you're all safe and well. If you're new channel, please consider subscribing, hitting that bell notification so you're made aware of any time putting new content on. Sometimes we obviously have one video going up a day, but sometimes I'm in a good mood. If you beat Chelsea or things like that, so make sure you take advantage of that while I'm in a good mood, and make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any interviews, any memories. Everyone's a belter, including today's guest. You'll recognise him if you obviously follow the Hammers chat forums and the channels. Particularly his Mike on Mondays, which I particularly like at the moment, being the only person on YouTube on a Monday called Mike talking about West Ham. It's Mike Manera. Hi, Mike. How are you, man?
Hello, mate. Yeah, I'm nothing else if not niche.
I always say you have to find a niche, and you've crafted it yourself, which is brilliant. How are you? How's things?
Oh, good, mate. Good. Yeah. We're gradually coming out of this lockdown nonsense, and West Ham won on Wednesday. I appreciate this might be shown sometime after, but we're a couple of days after the win over Chelsea, so happy days.
Yes, everyone's happy days. It was as we said before we started, it was a shame. The only shame is it's one of those games which people, if there were 60,000 people there, would have been even more. So we'd have probably won 4-5-2, to be perfectly honest, I think, because I think the crowd would have pushed them on. It would have been a different game. But the first one. I mean, couple more. I think 2 more wins and we're all right, I reckon. That's what I think.
I think some Bournemouth are falling apart, but enough about this season, because redundant a few months' time if someone catches up on this, won't it?
That's it, isn't it? That's it. I mean, I remember saying when we played Southampton before it, I was like, great, we're at the bottom 3. We're still at the bottom 3. And then people were like, why? I said, well, I think we'll be shut down soon. And I was surprised we came back, but doesn't matter. It's what it is. And as long as we carry on, and as you said, we'll see what happens. And if we finish the season, brilliant. If we don't, as long as we're at the bottom 3, it's all I'm bothered about. Yeah. But anyway, we talk about other stuff on this channel. I leave all the topical stuff to you lot on Hammers Chat, all the recent stuff. I go back nostalgia. No one can criticise me about nostalgia. And so the whole idea of this is always to find about memories and stuff about West Ham. So for you, Mike, why West Ham? Why is West Ham your club?
Right, you ready for a weird one?
Love it.
Because okay. So I come from a very Anglo-Italian household, right? So hence the surname of Manera on my dad's side. But my dad wasn't around for long because he ran off to Brazil with another woman, right? It wasn't just like he left. He went to the other side of the world. Do you know what I mean? And so there was me and my mum and her mum, my nan, who had a huge influence on my growing up. And I was an only child and my mum's only child. Well, Nan came from this generation. My Nan was really old, like proper old. She was born in 1899. I come from a family of kids ridiculously young. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Sorry, ridiculously old. It's the other way, isn't it? Yeah, old. Yeah. So my Nan was born in 1899. She had this array of 100 sisters and brothers and whatever. And there were these women used to come round. So I was brought up in southeast London, like Lewisham, New Cross area, proper Millwall territory.
Yeah.
And they was just surrounded by old women. That's all I was. It was me and a load of old women when I was growing up. And my nan lived in this terraced house in southeast London, proper 2 up, 2 down, outside bog, weird bit in the garden where the Anderson shelter used to be. Do you know what I mean? Proper class people. And lovely, wonderful people. And she had this lady who lived on the same road, like 10 doors down. My Aunt Rose was her sister. Was round, and Joe would always talk about this, that, and the other. They would come around drinking endless cups of tea. And one day she said the weirdest thing. She said, "Oh, I'm really excited about the cup final." And I'll tell you how old I was, because I was 8, right? And I was like aware of football. I liked playing football, but I didn't really have a team. Yeah. And then you couldn't watch football on TV. There was match of the day and stuff, or the big match, but to watch a live game on TV was a real rarity, as I'm sure you remember. And I was like, wow, this is going to be on the telly. I can watch this live. And she then came, the next time I saw her, she said, I have walked the whole of South London, trying to find a rosette for you so we can watch you one air it when the cup final's on. And anyway, the cup final rolls round. I switched the telly on, or get my mum to switch it on. I had no interest in football at all. and on to this cup final. The only thing is, she hasn't told me what team, right? And it's West Ham and those lovely claret and blue shirts against Fulham. It's 1975, people. And of course I'm going to go for the colourful team.
Yeah, of course.
Eight. And luckily for me, the team that won. And turned out it was the wrong one. Which set all these people totally against me. I turn up and next week, yeah, we won. What do you mean? West Ham won. We were supporting Fulham. I wasn't. And I've been a West Ham supporter ever since. And it's been annoying everybody I've been around growing up in deepest, darkest Millwall territory in much the same way I did that day. And it stuck. It just really stuck. I went, right, that's my team.
Yeah.
That is my team. And weirdly, a couple of years later, I taught my mum into taking me to a football match, right? My mum knew nothing about football. She hated football. By then, I was a proper full-on football fan, right? 10, fanatical, love playing football, everything about football, collected the stickers and the cards and everything. And she took me to the only place she knows she could take me, the local team. So my first ever football match was Millwall against Blackburn Rovers in the old third division. And I remember standing there in driving rain and wind, surrounded by oiky Millwall fans, and they are all oiky. I mean, proper. And they all started singing, "We hate West Ham and we hate West Ham." And that just cemented it, because if they hate it, I want part of that thing. So, and that was it really. It stuck with me. And because I had weird upbringing, and I had no one to take me to football. That was one football match I went to like as a youth. And then, I got to the point where I left home really, really. I left home at 16. Then I ended up living in Manchester through education and work and whatever. I went to a load of away games before I ever went to Upton Park. Yeah. In my mind, knowing nothing about North England, I'm in Manchester. I'm going to go and watch West Ham away. Right. Yeah. Derby. That'll be nearby. It's all the north. Do you know what I mean? I ended up going to the baseball ground in Derby, Bradford, Oldham, which, to be fair, was just up the road for the St Valentine's Day Massacre, 6-0 throttling. I was at that. That was before I'd ever been to Upton Park. Then I moved back to London, and I've been going ever since. Do you know what I mean? Upton Park, obviously. And so that is my route into West Hamism. It's a weird way round. It's a really odd one. There's no family connection. I'm not an East Londoner. I'm a South Londoner. It's. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. But you will find no one with more claret and blue blood than me, as I'm sure you're aware. Well, apart from yourself and all the rest of us West Ham fans. But it's stuck, and I'm a fanatic of West Ham fan. Have been ever since.
Yeah, no, I love those stories. We interviewed another fan called Nigel King, and he I was like, why West Ham to him? And basically it was very similar to you. He turned on Match of the Day and his granddad went, "Oh, what football team do you support?" And he went, "Oh, that one." And it was West Ham, like proper Andy from Little Britain. Oh, that one. And it was West Ham. And it was just, and then that's it. And he's been a fan for like 50 years since. It's crazy.
I actually did, and I'd implore people to get out on the Hammers Chat. You go onto the Hammers Chat YouTube channel. You will find I did a video where I just interviewed a load of people on the boats, the place where we meet up before game, and asked the question, why do you support West Ham? And I'll go into more depth of my story. Some of them were joyous. Just my favourite one was Jez Whetstone, Sean's dad, right? And that was because he was a child. He was on holiday in Cornwall, and the squad were in a post-season break in the same place.
Yeah,
I was like, what? And that is why that stuck.
I know.
That is a random reason to support West Ham.
And because of that, that's why Sean's a fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what it is. Yeah, mental.
And you can hear him tell that story on that video. There was loads of great. I thought it would all be, my dad's for them. I'm from East London. No, there's loads of really random stories. It's brilliant. It's great fun.
But it doesn't matter where you come from and how you get there. Everyone ends up the same, everyone, it just gets into the fabric of your clothes, doesn't it? And like, you think work wise, I've got a meeting. West Ham playing at home. Well, I'll do it there. And then I can go to the game. It's funny how it all it's like osmosis, isn't it? It just gets into your skin.
I think now it does. It becomes part of your clothing, part of your DNA. I think you're absolutely right, mate. Yeah.
And we've been social distancing for years as West Ham fans. We don't shake hands. So we just go, come on, boys. And that's it. You don't need to shake hands. You don't need to hug, high five. Could be a random bloke in the street. So in a West Ham shirt, come on, boys. And then that's it. And so we're well ahead of the curve. We always have been. So I'm not worried when we go back to London Stadium, to be honest. Although I can't wait. And obviously, probably you guys can't wait getting back on the boats eventually. And, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be great fun. But I mean, but as I was saying to you earlier, I'm not watching the games with the TV on, but listening to the watch along on the Hams chat. It's as close as I can get to being with those guys who I quite often be at a game with anyway. Do you know what I mean? So, and you make your own fun, as they say in the old days. Sounds slightly lewd, but you know what I mean. It's you get by the best you can. At least draw there, mate, and still playing.
I mean, that's the thing. Clearly, the players need to know they're playing at London Stadium. If the bubbles and anything else didn't give it away, they had the music. I mean, we've tried to do some different things. So, like we put together a different mix. So it's not all the 1975 FA Cup winning version. We mix it in. So we put we recorded the fans singing the Fortunes bit, so it mixes in a bit. So at least it sounds like there's fans there. Do you know what I mean? And it is weird. It is a bit weird, but it's what it is, isn't it? And I think I think it might be the norm for a little while longer. That's what I see. Well, obviously, definitely this year, but this season. But I think we'll see what happens. I reckon I don't know what they'll do. They'll probably do some sort of ballot thing and start. I mean, London Stadium's quite good for that sort of because it's quite a big bowl. You can social distance. Yeah, you can social distance people quite nicely, can't you? And so
some would say our defence has been socially distancing from the opposition all season. But
I thank you. Yes, indeed. Here all week, but that's the truth. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? But no, it is weird. But as I said, I get a car park space, which is literally outside the stadium. I literally park right next to where the Stones are. It's mental. It's absolutely mental, but needs must. And I'm actually really, really impressed by how they do it. It's like I don't get. I had visions of it taking forever to get through and being temperature checked, but literally, it's like literally a 5-10 minute process, and you're in. One day, I would like to. I don't think I'll be able to. I'd like to film it one day, just so people knew. Because obviously, people don't know. It's something the fans don't want to see. But I don't think I'll be allowed to do that. But it's very, very simple. It is a bit weird having to, have your temperature taken and fill in the health questionnaire each time you go to football. But hey, it is what it is. Now, obviously, Mike, what we do this sort of Hammers 11 thing. So. Obviously, from 75 onwards, you've got quite a nice spread of players to look at, to be honest. And that's what we try and say. We try and say that the only parameter is you have to be alive to have seen them play, meaning so that we get different. Obviously, generationally, we get different people. So otherwise, it'd be quite boring if it was just your dream, because everyone would be the same, pretty much. And I think that's what Gonzo thought it was when I first came to him with the idea, but now he realizes it's a bit different, which is great. So that's what we try and do, and we try and keep it to a 4-4-2. But I'm happy to flick it around. I'm a little bit better at video editing than I was. I'm sort of picking it up on my go. It's a bit easier now. But that's really it, and it's your 11. So you can talk about whoever the bug you want to talk about, Mike. To be honest, it doesn't have to be the best players, be the worst players. It could be. We've had the sick note 11. We've had. What Brian did the other day, too good to go down 11. That was a brilliant one. That was fantastic. Honestly, some of the players have been relegated for West Ham is incredible when he went through them.
It is.
Oh, it's mental, isn't it? Absolutely mental. So for you, Mike, you're 11. You're 11. Who would be between the sticks?
Well, I'll tell you now. I've gone with my favourite players rather than the best players,
yes.
Right? And also that I must have seen them play in a stadium rather than on TV,
nice.
Right? So
lovely.
I've kept it to people I've obviously watched a lot of live football with West Ham, so it's I've stuck to that, if that's okay.
Lovely.
And I've got with perfect. My favourites, some of whom are horribly predictable. Probably between the sticks, we'll start with. We've been blessed, though, with a lot of good goalkeepers in the time. Yep. I think it's a position we filled well. I think our current goalkeeper could have easily made it on there. And we've had, I like Rob Green a lot when he was playing for us. And but there was only one choice for me. But it's funny because when you asked me to do it, you instantly, your head races through. And you're, oh, God, right, who am I going to put in there? Straight away, Ludek McCloskey.
I thought he was going to say Neil Finn. Ludo.
Yeah, it had to be Ludek McCloskey just because he almost thought he could just stand in front of the goal and no one's going to score. He was enormous, but also a proper athlete, and at a time when we didn't really have, I thought, star players. I'm in the frame there. It was like he was one, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you mentioned about the thing about too good to go down. You could put a really good team together of quality players that got relegated with West Ham. But if you think that Billy Bonds team that went down, that was when I had a season ticket. I remember you used to be able to get a North Bank season ticket for 50 quid.
Wow.
Like, stand on the North Bank. You could, it was like a book. They'd tear one out each time you went through. And that team that went down in that era with Billy Bonds in charge wasn't good enough to stay up. But my God, they tried. I mean, that team would have crawled over broken glass for West Ham. And I really admired that about them. Later teams had the ability to stay up, but in my opinion, weren't putting the work in. That team really worked. Do you know what I mean? They wanted it. We lacked enough quality in enough positions. We had quality in a couple of positions, but sadly not loads of them. But I still love that team to a large extent because on the day they could play, but their day was sadly not that often, but they tried in every game. And they really, really went for it. Anyway, rambling a bit, McCloskey in goal for me, mate. It's got to be.
Yeah, Ludo. Okay, Ludo's in goal. Let's go left back. I reckon I could probably guess your left back, but let's go left back.
Has anyone else chosen anyone other than Julian Dix?
If I told you Charlie Walsh did.
You are joking.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Charlie's one, actually. I've been watching a lot.
Charlie Walsh did. We've had... well, it's a generational thing, isn't it, really? A lot of old, experienced fans. They picked Frank Lampard Sr. Obviously, Julian comes up quite a lot. Yeah. Charlie picked Razvan Rat because of the Christmas onesie picture with Adrian. We've had Phil Whelans. He picked Vladimir Labant because he didn't for his team. But yeah, honestly, yeah. But Julian comes up across the ones. But yeah.
Okay, okay, I'll leave that. There was the lad who went to Liverpool I quite liked, but for one season, I've got to say. But anyway, as Julian Dix did. But there you go. Julian Dix, for me, look, I think fullback, both sides, we'll get on to that right back in a moment, has been a major bang. We can say we had quite a lot of good goalkeepers. We've not had any fullbacks, in my opinion, of quality, since the two I'm going to put in here, one at left back and one at right back. Julian Dix, right, everyone knows about the Terminator and the hard tackling. I have watched Julian Dix run a game from left back, like dominate possession as a left back. I don't know of another left back ever that can do that. I mean, when I say, like you've got that player can get hold of midfield and run a game. We can talk about great players from around the world that have done that in World Cups and in the Premier League and whatever, in days of yore. Trevor Brooking could do it back in the day, or do you know what I mean? Or you've got loads of great players who can do that. And Glenn Hoddle would stand in the middle of the room and start spraying passes around and do all of that sort of stuff, right? Julian Dix did that at left back. He would just be flying passes all over the pitch. And you'd watch somebody get the ball, Martin Adams get the ball in midfield, turn around, pass sideways and backwards to Dix as an aggressive move, as a full, and Dix would just spray the pass, which Martin Adams can't see, bless him. Do you know what I mean? Because he wasn't that sort of player, and that's no indictment of mine. And slagging him off, I wouldn't want to. He'd kill me. I watched his show, his one of yours. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. So funny. And, but he could just dominate a game from left back. And I know he's predominantly known as Terminator and that aggressive tackler, and he did that as well. But I think people miss out on just what a quality player.
I agree.
Dick, blimey, what a player.
No, I agree totally. And I think outside of West Ham that there's that assumption. Inside West Ham, we know how much of a great player he was. But yeah, he was, he epitomised West. And what I liked about it, and what I liked about that type of that era of players that played for West Ham is they were all proper relatable. Do you know what I mean? It's like you could walk into the pub, on Saturday you could walk into the pub and Julian, and you wouldn't think twice of Julian, if someone like Julian propping up the bar. Do you know what I mean? It's like, actually, you can't stand by you're not allowed to stand by the bar now, but before pre-lockdown, and he was one of those players who just, he turned up, he had his socks around his ankles, shirt untucked, ripped his collar and had the hoop neck collar, have a can of Coke in the Mars bar, and then go and play 90 minutes and, as you said, dominate the game. And it was just...
I'll tell you what you say. It's this weird Julian Dick story coming up. I don't even know this, but I did 15 years as a stand-up comedian. Yeah, playing all over the country, a bit of telly and all the rest of it, right? So that's sort of my background. I don't do it now, but that's what I was doing until quite recently, right? And I did a comedy club, a number of years ago in a town called Essex called Wivenhoe. And it was at Wivenhoe Football Club, right? And I get to this venue, and it was a lovely club, a lovely comedy club, lots of lovely people there. And the manager of Wivenhoe FC is stood at the bar, Julian Dick.
Brilliant.
I'm like, dude. That's what I mean. I'm like, and he was just so sweet and nice. I mean, he didn't stay for the show, he was there for something else. You know what I mean? And you're like, oh my gosh. It's Julian Dick, just jeans and t-shirt, bobbling around the whatever. You're like, what a nice guy, and putting up with this idiot, like God looks like like a gay bouncer on the night. I think I did. Do you know what I mean? I had like one for flouncing up to him, going, "Oh my Julian," do you know what I mean? And it's just like, what a star. Yeah. So hats off, proper guy.
Yeah, definitely. We'll put him in. Right, let's. You alluded to the right back. Let's go to the right back then, Mike. Who we got right back then, man?
Have a guess if I've picked Jim Glasgow and Dix. Another one you've had on your show, Tim Breaker.
Lovely guy.
The last decent right back we've had. Actually, Carl Jenkinson had that season when I enjoyed him playing for us, actually.
Yeah.
But, up and down that side right back. I remember my favourite seeing Tim Breaker's story play very quickly. I remember going away at Palace, right? And the away end used to be exactly opposite where it is now, when it was terracing time, And I'm away at Palace, and Tim Breaker was actually playing in central defence because we had a load of injuries. And we had, I might have been Kenny Brown just starting in at right back, right? And they had John Solarco playing for him. Do you remember John Solarco played for Palace? We were all singing in the away end, if Solarco plays for England, so do I. If Solarco plays for England, so do I. Giving it good, but Solarco is running a merry dance down that side.
Yeah. And
he keeps skinning our right back. He comes over, like Solarco does. You see Tim Breaker, I've had enough of this. Comes out of his defensive position, comes over to Solarco. Solarco goes to dance past him. The ball goes in row X. Solarco is in row Z behind it, right? Ball, player, and the ref just because he's played the ball first, just gives a throw in, right? Yeah. It was almost like Tim Brett's gone, no, lad, this is how you do it. Right? This is how you deal with it. Goes over, out the way, boom. And that was the last we saw of John Solarco in that game. He didn't go off injured. He just didn't try and run past anyone after that. And it's great. I mean, also, he just up and down that wing. He was a metronome.
Yeah, he was.
But an attacking fullback before attacking fullbacks were a thing. And he had one hell of a shot. I remember being on the North Bank and some lad in the front row was knocked unconscious by one of his shots, which just went wide at the poor lad in the head. And the first aid people dragging him out of the North Bank. And shouldn't laugh at someone else's expense, but you were like, crikey, he hit that shot, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But a great play, a great football. Always seemed to be fit. It helped out central defence when we had injuries there, and just was a good, regular, solid right back for us, you know.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Totally agree. And he's a lovely guy as well. I mean, he was one of those players that cause that was around the like 91, 92. That was when I probably started properly going, and he was one of those players I didn't appreciate at the time. Because he wasn't, I was reasonably young. So he wasn't the he wasn't the goal getter, or he wasn't, he wasn't Clive Allen. He wasn't, Kevin Keane. But going back and watching it like you can do now, when we had time on our hands, he was a player, and obviously talking to everyone else, all the ex-players, he was like the modern day professional now. Just complete machine. But I put Timmy B in.
Right, I'd agree with that. I don't know if I fully appreciated how good he was then. Like, I knew he was good, but I didn't realise how good. No. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, no, I agree, definitely. I mean, and I said that to him in their interview. Look, I like you give a shit, but I didn't appreciate you, Tim, but now I do. Touch thing. He was like, oh, fair enough. Didn't know what to say, to be honest. Right, okay, let's go centre half then, Mike. Who's your first centre half then?
Okay. I'm going to step out of that team for a minute. I'm going to go with someone I've not heard anyone saying. I thought he was a very, very good and very classy centre half for us, and that's Matthew Upson.
First time, I always had carry on. I always get my always have my spreadsheet open. I think that's the first time Matthew Upson's come up. I'll be honest.
He was great. He was really good. I'm always thinking best in that season when we finished 7th or so under Zola. Zola's like when he came in, and that was he would really dominate that defence every time someone attacked. It just seemed to be him cleaning it up, him in the air, getting the ball away. But also you could see the point when you're at the game. Obviously, you do a lot. You get a sense of the leaders after the pointing. Like Declan Rice does it a lot now, and the talking to the other players. You can see him push up and whatever. Winston Reid was another really good defender for this, who nearly went in as well. A player I really admired as a defender when he was fit and well. He was another good organiser. And of course, Alvin Martin was as well. Neither of those have made it in, but I just thought, I'm going to pick Matthew Upson because I really enjoyed. And this is my team, right?
Exactly.
A team that I've enjoyed the most watching. Not necessarily the best. You could probably say we've had better centre halves. We've had good centre halves. We might have not had good fullbacks. We've had good centre halves over the years. But Matthew Upson, I really enjoyed him. I thought he was a classy centre half for me. Do you know what I mean? Very, very classy.
Yeah, definitely.
So he's one, and the other one's going. I'll tell you that I remember watching us away at Arsenal back in the Highbury days. We're talking terracing, we're talking Highbury. And because the away end held about 6 people, it was tiny, wasn't it, right? And I remember I couldn't get tickets, so I'm on the North Bank at Highbury. I'm in the wrong end. I'm in with the Gooners. And it was one of our relegation seasons. Right? And I remember we won. We won 1-0. They were all over us, but they couldn't score because Ian Wright, who was their talismanic striker, couldn't get the ball. The reason he couldn't get the ball is he was completely marked out the game by Steve Potts. Yeah. Steve Potts wouldn't let him get a kick. It wasn't just man marking him, he cut out the pass lane to him. He was quick enough to stay with him if he did get the ball and tackle him. His reading of what was going on. He'd clearly been told, keep right off the ball. That's your job. You mark right. You stop him getting the ball. And he did it immaculately. Yeah. Immaculately. And he was always a good player. And I really liked him. I knew he played fullback as well. But I really liked him as central defender, even though he wasn't the big burly type.
No, you're right.
The game. And his pace was phenomenal. He was a player I really, really admired. I really like Steve Potts, so he's the other one. I know someone else who's come up a lot. And that's, again, a player who I think at the time we probably didn't appreciate enough. But in retrospect, I think you realise how good. Again, ahead of his time a bit, very much like you could see him almost in a Pep Guardiola team, couldn't you? Because he could pass and play as well. You could see him in that sort of passing, ball-playing defender role, which he kind of was, but that wasn't known then. You know what I mean? Defenders with huge units, weren't they?
Yeah. No, totally. He shouldn't. Yeah, for someone so small, he shouldn't have been so good at centre back. Really, but he read the game fantastically, and he was deceptively quick as well. That's what. It might be Martin Allen actually when you're talking about him. Deceptively quick, as a centre back. And I think with Timmy Breaker coming in, obviously Potsy was at right back really, and Timmy coming in made Potsy move into the centre backs, and that's what made it. I think. Steve Potts is a West Ham legend, and he is. Obviously, he's under 23s coach now, so he's still in the club, and
which is great. I love that continuation.
Yeah, there's been a real push in the last season, I'd say, since Pellegrini left. In before then, just starting to. Obviously, you got Potsy, you've got Colton, you got Kaczewski, Zavon Hines. It's even Nolan coming in back in. It's like, although not a West Ham boy, so to speak, massive, fantastic captain for us.
Yeah, an important player for us, wasn't he, Kev Nolan? So yeah. Incidentally, we scored in that game, obviously to win it. Was it Mitchell Thomas turned up out of nowhere to plant a ridiculously long shot in, and we won 1-0. And I remember being stood. Obviously, I'm on my own, no colours on, because I'm in the home end. That's the way back. And I remember I couldn't help it. I didn't cheer. I didn't do anything daft. I just went, yes! And suddenly went, and do you know what happened? A 10-foot ring around me appeared. Everyone just moved away. Move away from the West Ham fan. I'm very tall, I will give you that, but I'm clearly not in any way an aggressive person. Do you know what I mean? But like, they just moved away. Like, oh my God, it's one of them. And like, there was a plague. There was a 10-foot well of emptiness around me on the packed North Bank. It was hilarious.
Oh, brilliant.
I couldn't believe we won that game. But it was down to, even though I think it was Mitchell Thomas scored the goal. He'll be remembered for that, obviously, neither, because I don't remember it. But I just remember Potts marking right out the game. That's why we won.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. What a player. Right, that's your back five. Let's go midfield. Let's go left midfield then, Mike. Who would you have left midfield?
Right, as I say, I've enjoyed watching this series, it's been, some of them have been really illuminating, especially the player ones, some of the fan ones as well. But I've only seen one person name this player, and I might get in trouble for saying it, but it is the only choice, and it's Dimitri Payet.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I know it went sour, but he is the best player I've ever seen in a West Ham shirt.
Me too.
I mean, there's a close second who's also in this team, by the way, but he is the best player I've ever seen wear a Canberra shirt. That's last season at Upton Park. Well, I was fortunate enough to be there for that season, and be at every game. What a player. I mean, he was monstrously good. He was world class. He was a world class player playing for West Ham, and arguably we've had one other one. In my lifetime, we've had them in the past. Trevor Brooking and Devonshire, Bobby Moore, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Shout for those, and Jeff Hurst. But in my era of going and watching West Ham, he's the one. So he has to be Dimitri Payet, and it's a shame. What happened, but we'll always have that season. And my lad, who's 8 and a fanatical West Ham fan, it's a family curse. I didn't have that handed to me, but he has. And he absolutely loves West Ham. And he will just sit there on YouTube watching that thing that West Ham have put up with all his goals and assists and just going, how good's he? And I'm like, I was there. I saw this happen. I was right behind him when he scored that free kick against Palace. I watched that go, it's over. What?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, you're right.
It's like it was CGI or something.
Yeah.
How did you do that? It's just amazing. But he would just dominate a game. Again, out on a left inside forward position, but just run the game from that position. And like you watch teams double up. No good, because even if you did manage to quell him, you've let Lanzini off the hook.
Yeah. And he weren't quick, was he? He wasn't a quick player. He was a dumpy little bloke. I can't speak myself, but he was a dumpy little bloke. But he just had this he was just incredible. And he was doing it from day one, wasn't he? Most foreign players takes a couple of games. day one, that Arsenal game, he was doing the,
He was absolutely bossing it then. He had such a low centre of gravity, though. He's strong.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't that quick, you just couldn't get him off the ball. He had to foul him. And that's quick. If you fouled him near the penalty, it's like giving this a penalty.
Exactly,
It was ridiculous. So, I mean, what a play. He had to go in. So that's
I agree.
No, some people don't like him, but I will always love that season.
I think you get that. I think you get that with those players, don't you? You know, you get mercurial players. I mean, he joined us in the same way that he left us. So what do we expect?
Yeah.
Arnautovic is the same, you know, and probably someone else is going to be in your team. We only signed him because he pushed over a referee. You know what I mean?
Guess who the other player is.
Spoiler alert. But I know Payet. I always put Payet. I always rate Payet as the technically best player I've ever seen. But that was the first song my daughter learned to sing. She's just turned 8 as well, so she must have got, I can't remember, 3 at the time, and I've got a video recording of her singing that song, and that was like, you know, because it was a catchy song. We created that song, and everyone else nicked it, you know, but it was it was a great play.
They did. Yeah, Spurs especially, a good song, Nick, Spurs. Yeah. But yeah, you're right, and that's a special memory. I'm pleased for you there, because that's a lovely connection to the club for your daughter and for you as well, isn't it? That's lovely.
I've got loads. You know, my daughter was due on the Blackpool playoff final, and I had a front row ticket. So obviously I was at Wembley, and I was at Wembley chaperoning Bubbles the bear around the stadium. And she was born a couple of days afterwards, and I've got a picture of her about 2 days old, sat in the playoff trophy. You know, like when they had that. You know, they had that sort of those pictures of people in like lettuce leaves and stuff. The babies. My daughter was in the playoff trophy, so she was scarred at a very early age. Bless her. Anyway, let's go right midfield. Who do you have right midfield in? Nice segue.
Right midfield. But back in the days of the North Bank Terrace, which looms large in my life, the memory of West Ham. And by the way, I'm not anti-Olympic Stadium. I just know a lot of people really. I think the move was done badly and the rest of it, but there are good things about the Olympic Stadium. I'll get into that now, but I'm done with thinking I just live in the past. But back in the day, there was a ledge over to the, I think as you're looking at the pitch on the left, in front of where you'd get your bobsled and wagon wheel. Yeah. And there was a little ledge which hung over to the where the chicken run was, right? It just sort of to the side, which took up that corner. Yeah. Where you could see the goal, North Bank goal really well, and the other goal. And me and a lot of other people we became friends, right? And they had, I've got quite a surreal and cerebral. If you've ever watched my show, Michael Mundy, you'll know it's quite surreal and cerebral. And that is my genuine sense of humour. Yeah. And I was fortunate to meet people who were on a similar wavelength, and we came up with some almightily weird songs and nicknames for players. And this player had one of them. And we started naming some of the players, nicknaming them after prominent London landmarks. So this player was Wandsworth Town Hall because he was always hugging the right wing. And a bit of politics thrown in. And that is, of course, Kevin Keane.
Yeah.
Another one of your guests who I watched the show with him on. And just because one of my favourite West Ham players ever. He is one of you. We talked earlier about players who weren't appreciated at the time. Underlined 5 times. That guy was class in a jar. He never left that white line, did he? Apart from to occasionally tap in a rebound. But what a skillful player. He was quick, not blessed with dynamic pace, but you know. But was still alive, nimble. He'd beat players. He could play a brilliant pass. He worked hard. He'd get back and support. His fullback was often him and Tim Breaker running down that side, wasn't it? And that was a good unit, you know. Yeah. And I always thought he was really underrated. I thought he was a better player than he was given credence for. So I'm going to go with Wandsworth Town Hall.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, he came across brilliant. So well on your show.
Oh, it's lovely. Honestly, he was such a nice guy, and a total oxymoron to the because that's the right word, to his travel partner. So he used to travel in with Martin Allen, and I just said to him, "How the f could you like survive?" He went, Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know sometimes. And it's like, yeah, and they usually, because he used to tell me where to go. Martin always used to tell me the directions, and we'd driven it all the time. I still know because when I interviewed Martin Allen, he gave me the directions from Waltham Abbey turnoff, and I used to live in there, and I live in Hornchurch now, so I know exact. I said, yeah, I know how to get to Chadwell Heath, Martin, from the M25. No. Then I went through Abridge down Dayton. Yeah, I know. I used to live. My nan used to live in Dayton, but I used to live in Loughton. Then I go right, and I go up to Roller Bowl. Collie Martin, yeah, I do know. Moby Dick pub, yeah, okay. But yeah, Keno was lovely, and he's again another. We've missed him. We talk about the West Ham boys in the setup. Obviously, he's the under 18s coach, isn't he, as well?
Yeah. It's great to have him in there because he understands the club and he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? He really does.
Yeah, exactly. And he's done like every position at the club, coaching wise. Obviously, he was reserve team manager, assistant first team manager, caretaker manager. He'd done them all. It was really funny, and like he was a lovely guy. Right, okay, let's go into central midfield then, Mike. Who's your first central midfield player?
Okay, this is another one you've had on and has been mentioned by a lot of people. I'm going to keep this one brief because I want to talk about the other one. So I bet might well be another first, right? Because remember, this is my favourite.
Of course it is. That's the beauty of it, yeah.
Watching West Ham. So I've gone for players that used to really excite me that I loved watching.
Yeah.
So Ian Bishop's absolutely must be in there. You will never see a better passer of the ball from the deep position. Just him when he had Stuart Slater going down the left. Do you remember that he would play the ball into space for him? And Slater was on it. He just could find him, or he could find Trevor Morley, just postage stamp pass. Yeah. You call it Beckham-esque this day, though pre-Beckham, isn't it, really? But, and what a player. Just a really, really, and he worked hard, and he got up and down that pitch. But he was class in the jar ball player. He had long hair like me at the time. And I just loved him. Just thought he was a biscuit, as we say, the mustard. You know what I mean? He was proper good. Yeah. So Ian Bishop's one. Yeah. And the other one, look, I understand he wasn't with us for long, not because of his fault, but if there was a player that I've seen, especially one that's come through with us, that's really excited me, I have got to go with Jack Collison. Yeah. I thought Jack Collison was an absolutely world-class player in the making. He was so skillful. He was such a good passer of the ball, such a good reader of the game, so good off the ball as well. You watch the little movements he'd make into space to make himself available for all who wanted the ball, and you watched it when he got the ball. He could beat a man as well. He could dribble, he could shoot. He had it all. And I was there when that injury happened, and he never came back from that. I know he did, technically. I saw him. Weirdly, I was again in the home end at Arsenal. This is a habit of mine. When he put us 1-0 up there, we lost 5-1, but you could see the joys. He ran off to see us at the Emirates, and he ran off to celebrate with the staff who were there, the medical staff who were in the dugout, and to sort of. But it wasn't to be, was it? Do you know what I mean? It was like, but for that again, that season under Zola, my word, what a player we had coming through there, and. It just excited me to see him play, excited me. Admittedly, part of that's the potential, which never really happened.
You're right.
So sad. But he was really good even at that level. He was good enough to be in West Ham's first team in the Premier League easily, and he would have got better. So I'm going with Jack Collison and Bishop in midfield. So
nice. Yeah. And as you said, I mean, someone like Jack, unfortunately, it's always the case with West Ham, isn't it? It's always what could have been, and but obviously, I always think, the balls of the man. Obviously, when his dad died, and then he was playing, that was like, it's like the love of football, the love of the club that he'd still play in that game, despite the fact that was those always get a lump in my throat when I think about that. I think it's incredible. Okay, Jack's in. Bish Bosh is in. Oh, I love Bish Bosh. Right, I love it. He's brilliant. Honestly, I love him. He's such a nice guy. Honestly, he's like absolutely brilliant. We had such a laugh. Right, okay, let's go up front. Who we got up front then? Mike?
Well, I'm going to go there. Both of these are both pretty obvious, I'm afraid. But you've already alluded. The second best player I've ever seen pushes Payet close. The best player I've seen in the crown blue of West Ham is, of course, Paulo Di Canio.
Yeah.
And every good West Ham team that I can remember has had a nutter.
Yeah.
We've all had a nutter. It's either Mad Dog, Paolo, Marco Bugas, and do you know what I mean? We're always best with someone slightly off their rocker, but it's still really good at playing football. Do you know what I mean? And he was our talismanic nutter / genius. And there is a fine line, I often think. In I've worked in the arts all my life, music industry, medium, whatever. And you see in those industries how fine that line is between brilliant and lunatic. All the time, and he was that wafer thin line between just being brilliant and you're right. The only reason we got him is he pushed the referee over when playing Sheffield Wednesday. I only remember when we signed him, and at the time my girlfriend at the time, well, long ago, was from Sheffield, big Wednesday fan, and she was teasing me and going, "You're going down." I said, "No, you are. You haven't got anyone to score goals for you.
Yeah.
You've sold up Paulo Di Canio. Who's going to score your goals?" And they went down, and we didn't. And I was right. You know what I mean? But you're like, that was the their loss. They wanted to react like that because of what happened, rather than keep the classy player.
Yeah.
They thought he was too volatile for him. Whatever. We'll have him because we love a nutter at West Ham. But also, what a player! He was so good. So good.
Yeah, no, he was, and that's why when I say Payet is technically the best I've seen at West Ham, but I would say for me, Di Canio is the best player because you've got it's almost like a pie chart. You've got technical ability, then you've got passion and charisma, which he had, and then you just had entertainment value, and we want to be entertained. We're not in it for the football, Mike, are we? Let's be perfectly honest. We wouldn't be West Ham fans. We just want to be entertained.
Well, we are in it we're not in it for the winning. That's not the winning,
but you know what I mean. And we just want to be entertained. And particularly that era, that was like a soap opera. It was almost like it was Dream Team on Sky One. You'd have him on there, and who was this bloke, Marco Bugas? Oh yeah, he's off. Who's this guy? It's like. It was like a crazy time. We've interviewed loads of people in that era, and they, even like some of the guys who were just not even breaking into the first team, but were like youth team players at the time. They were like, we don't know what was going on. It was.
We were full of loonies, weren't they? Joey Beecham. I don't want to play for Girlfriend in Oxford. It's Oxford. There are roads. It's not like you moved from Japan or something, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Brilliant.
What was going on there? You're right. It was soap opera and it was hilarious. I mean, you just think, what is going on? But he grew a love for the club.
He did, yeah.
He didn't come through our youth system or anything like that. But at the end, we all now know that he is a hammer, and he's an honorary hammer.
He's got a tattoo,
he does the club he loves.
Exactly. Man's got a tattoo at West Ham on him. I mean, it's like, he's inked himself for us. It's, for someone who's not from round here, he's, but he's brilliant. I love him. Absolute box office. I always tell a story, like, I think it was Nicky Hawkins from West Ham Fan TV, when I interviewed him, he was saying, we were talking about Paulo, and he told me his story, which I always tell everyone else, because I think it's brilliant. They were doing one of those fan Q&A things, when like players turn up and stuff. And it was Paulo, and Nicky turned up, shirt and trousers. Paulo turns up, as you can imagine, absolutely immaculate, Gucci, everything, glasses, bronzed, and Nicky just said to him, "Man, you look good, Paulo." He just turned around, pulled his collar up, and he went, "I always dress up for my family." Done. That's it. Mic drop, innit? Mic drop. Literally, I was crying my eyes out when he told me that. It was like so lovely, but you could just see him doing that. But that's why we love him. That's why we love him. Right. Okay, Paulo's it. Who's Paulo going to partner? Then Mike, who's the last piece of this Mike pie?
I nearly went with Trevor Morley. Right. He was a yard of pace short of playing for England, Trevor Morley. One of the most underrated strikers we ever had. I know everyone talks about his work ethic and the fact he put his body in line, but he's actually good as well. He was good. But if he had a yard of extra pace, he would have been absolute dynamite. So, but I'm not. I've gone with a slightly more obvious Dean Ashton.
Yeah.
Because the last great centre forward, maybe Haller's going to be the last great centre forward. Yeah, I know. I'm hoping that after a season of bedding in, he could come good though. I genuinely think it's there.
The pieces are there. The pieces are there. That's the thing. That Southampton game was a blueprint, and he can't play on his own. He can't. And you saw the confidence when he had Antonio up front with him. There was the Rabonas, there was the flicks, there was the dropping off. It's the three. You've got it. It's Haller, Bowen, and Antonio. That's it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, and you're right. The pieces are there, and it takes players. Some players, so like you said, Ryan was gone straight away. He was in his zone straight away. Takes some players longer. I'd like to think this has been a bedding in season. Not just him, but we have worked out how to play him. You're right. Southampton absolutely bang on pieces are there, and I'm hoping that he's going to be the next really classy striker we've had who's going to score. Well, I don't think this idea of a 20-goal a season striker is old school. I just and you look who scores 20 goals a season, how much they cost. We can't afford them. No. So unless we make one from the youth academy, which we could do if we're lucky. A 12 to 15 goal a season striker is a successful striker for me, especially if he's bringing other people in the game like Bowen or Antonio, chip in with 7 or 8, add them together, and you've suddenly got a lot of attacking returns. And do you know what I mean? You're away. But this idea that we're going to get like the 20-goal striker without forking out literally 100 million, that's how much they cost now. Sorry. Yeah. But that is what you have to pay. So I've gone with Dean Ashton. He was a really, really great player. I considered Sacco as well because I really liked him when he played. But he went mental and funny as well. But Dean Ashton, class in the jar striker, both-footed. He could play on the floor. He was good in the air. But the best thing about him, he was a really good poacher. He would just, if the goalkeeper, like the FA Cup final was a great example. Goalie's fluffed it, Ashton's right on it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Right place, right time striker, wasn't he? As well as he had the skill set, he had the physique, it was all there. And then Sean Wright Phillips goes.
Do you know, I still don't like the match. I was watching something the other day. I think it was that Peter Crouch thing on Saturday night, and Sean Wright Phillips was there. And I just turned it off. And my wife went to me, "What are you doing?" And I was like, just Sean Wright Phillips. I just can't stand the man.
Understandably, I mean, it's not even like he got injured on the pitch, is it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, at least Jack Collison was playing for us at the time. Do you know what I mean? Another player with injury, but at least he was great for a season. You know what I mean? And he wanted to come and play for us. He was very good. He still sees himself, I think, as someone who's associated with the club and is proud to be. Gio interviewed him for Flemish Chat, and that was a really enlightening interview. And he came across as a really nice guy in that as well. You know, just like. I'm a big fan of his. I thought he was a great player. Let's hope Haller can eclipse that striker hoodoo we have to a certain point. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, he's French. I'd take a Freddie Canute approach. I love Freddie Canute when he was at West Ham. I'll take that. If he could be Freddie Canute, that's fine for me. Because I think he was brilliant as well. But he's not dissimilar to Canute as well. If you think about the way he played, that languid kind of like approach to when he's not got the ball. Do you know what I mean? He was almost. I mean, the thing about Canute, he was almost too laid back for his own good, wasn't he? Really, I think he was. That's why he never made the upper echelons. Anyway, Canute's not in this. Dean Ashton doesn't matter. Mike, man, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. Loved it. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on, mate. Really appreciate it. And I will ask viewers to check out my show, Mike, on Monday. Just type that into YouTube and you'll find it. And also on Hammer's Chat, and it's on Monday, made by a bloke called Mike. But thank you so much, Russ, for having me on. Really appreciate it. I will distribute this in links to my show as well.
Thank you, Mike. And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching as well. You know what to do. Like, share, subscribe. Obviously, like, share, subscribe. Hammer's Chat and Hammer's Chat Forum. We've, Gonzo did a lovely video about me on like last Tuesday as well. So we always reciprocate each other's channels. And until next time, everyone, from me and Mike, take care, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you again very, very soon. See ya. Bye bye.